Now let's take a close-up look at the 2200. The 2200 has the same features as any of the other ornamental mills. They include the 3-axis mill, spiral drive, indexing, adjustable bed, and template following. The 3 axes are the X along the length, the Y across, and the Z up and down. Now you can either drive it with the lead screw or open the split nut and slide it. Now the Z axis comes with a digital readout. It can be adjusted in inches or millimeters, can be zeroed in any position, and can be adjusted within a thousandth of an inch. The bed is adjustable for different diameters or tapering. Now you can mount the templates on the back rail here, and you have a drop-in stylus to follow the templates. It comes standard with both the 4-jaw chuck and the index drive center. Now the tailstock comes with a heavy-duty live center. Now let's take a close-up look at the drives and the controls. Now keep in mind that there are 2 power sources, both 110 and 220, and be sure to plug them both in. Now once the 220 is plugged in, your on-off switch is located right here. You have controls for each motor. Now the most important control is your emergency stop. If you do hit your emergency stop, be sure to shut off each control before you turn it back on. This speed control is for your linear drive motor, which moves your carriage. It controls the on-off and the speed. This switch controls the direction. Now remember, when changing direction, turn off the speed control, change your direction, and then turn it back on. This speed control is for the spindle motor, which rotates the stock. It controls your on-off and the speed. This switch is for the direction. Now remember, when changing direction, turn off the speed control, change your direction, and then turn it back on. This button here is to override your limit switch. When the carriage trips the limit switch, you can advance it past or change the direction and drive it back. Now these controls are for your spindle motor. You have your on and off and your speed control. Pay attention, this speed control is opposite of these. All the way to the right is the slowest, and all the way to the left is the fastest. Every day before you operate your machine, you must go through a critical warm-up process on your spindle motor. Go ahead and turn on your spindle motor and run at the lowest speed for 5 minutes. And then turn it to half speed for another 5 minutes. And then turn it full speed for another 5 minutes, and then you're ready to cut. Now there are 2 methods to turn the stock. The first one is to use the spindle motor located on the headstock side. Attach your belt, tighten your cap screws, and you're ready to go. Now the second method is the gears, so let's take a close-up look on how they work. You will need to remove this drive and replace it with the spindle gear. And be sure to put on the washer on the knob. There are 3 different groups of gears, so you will need to refer to your gear chart for the proper group. We will use Group B, and they are labeled B1, B2, and B3. Take the set labeled B3 and put it on this shaft. Small gear goes on first. Now take the set labeled B2 and put it on this shaft. Small gear goes on first. And double check that the gears mesh. Next, take the set labeled B1 and put on the same shaft as B3. Be sure the alignment plate goes in front of B1. At this point, double check to make sure all gears are meshing. The last gear you will put on is the quick change gear. So you will want to refer to your gear chart to determine which gear you will need. Next, you will put on this spacer with the small flange on first, followed by the second spacer and the cap screw. Now slide the gears together until they mesh and tighten the bolts down. Now when you're using the gears with the motor, be sure to close the gear cover down. Remember, safety first. You also can remove this outside spacer and replace it with the handle so you can turn it manually. Now when you're using the handle, the gear cover must be up. If you're using the handle, you want to disconnect the motor right here. The 2000 and 2200 include these mounting plates for large diameter stock. The disc mounts on the tailstock end for the live center. The ring mounts to the headstock end. The 4-jaw chuck opens inside the ring to secure the stock. Now let's go ahead and turn the stock round. I'm using a 1-inch 2-flute straight cutter. I'm 3/8 of an inch off the back side of the stock. We'll use the spindle motor to turn it round, and we'll use the linear drive motor to advance it. The 2-flute straight cutter will remove a lot of stock quickly. To get the smoothest finish, we'll be using the bottom cleaning bit. I'm using an 1.5 inch bottom cleaning bit. I'm offset off the back side 5/8 of an inch. We will want to rotate the stock counterclockwise so the stock will rotate up underneath the router bit. Because we were making such a light cut, we were able to turn both of our controllers full speed, and it still left us with a smooth finish. Now, depending on the wood that you're going to use, you may need to make some minor adjustments. Now we will use a 3-inch plunge cutting roundover bit to cut a large bead. I've set the shoulder of the bit on top of the surface. We will use this controller, the spindle motor, to rotate the stock into the cutter, clockwise. I will use the Y-axis to go over center. We've shown you the controls and operations that are unique to the 2200. For all other instructions, refer to the training videos.